I am Batman. Average Sniper.
What's up, guys? Average Sniper here. You know what? There's too many players out there who are naturally good at the game that make tutorials that basically say, get good. This is not that tutorial. Coming from myself, I consider myself to be an average player. However, I do have hundreds and hundreds of wins in PUBG. I'm going to walk you through what I do as I struggled to get that chicken dinner. So if you came to this video, this will work for PS4 or Xbox. And basically, it's just a strategy guide for getting those wins. So let's start with where you should land. What I like to do is I like to pick a place where there's not going to be too many people, but there's going to be one or maybe two other people. Obviously, if you want to get a lot of kills, try to land somewhere like the military base or the school. Now, this should go without saying, but if you don't know how to use the guns yet, you should go into training mode, get a feel for the aiming system and the guns. When I started playing PUBG, there was no training mode, so we had to learn raw in the game. You do not have to do that anymore. If you have never played this game before, I highly recommend the training mode so you can get used to how this game works. There is no aim assist on console, so if you're coming from a game like Call of Duty and you just expect your aim to be on point all the time, you might be in for a little bit of a surprise. Can't stress that enough. So I picked a farm to land because there's good guns here, not a incredibly good amount of loot, but there's a good enough guns to survive and to get one or two kills. At this point, I heard someone moving, and I decided to creep around and kind of see where they were. It sounds like they're moving kind of frantically, so I know they're probably scrambling to find a gun. So I decided to be a little aggressive and push, and I see the guy right here, and I just kind of creep around the corner and burst him with the M16. Being sneaky in this game is probably one of the most important things, but you have to know when you have the advantage and when to push. Don't have any mercy for your enemies either. If they don't have a gun, take them out, because later during the game, they'll take you out, and you'll wish that you had done that. So once you land and you get your first one or two kills, make sure you get looted up. Even if you haven't got any kills yet, just get as much loot as you can. And I'm talking about the main things you want before you get into real crazy gunfights after the initial people that land with you are dead is a helmet, vest, medical supplies, and a good gun. Preferably level 2 or 3, but if all you can find is level 1, just play cautiously. Play very cautiously. Now that you're all looted up, or at least finished looting the area you were in, think about moving to another area if there's no more enemies around, and if you still need more loot, or if you need to get to the safe zone. Keep your eye on that safe zone, because sometimes you can get obsessed with looting and not realize how far out of bounds you are. Now here's a tip you might not expect. Have fun, okay? The first half of the game, I think you should kind of play not so defensive. You should have fun. You maybe even want to look for gunfights to practice your skills, or just to feel better about going into the final circle already having built up some kills. I find that the games I win the most are the ones I'm having the most fun in. If I'm in a real serious mood and I'm only going for chicken dinners, it tends to make me mad when I don't get those chicken dinners, and therefore my gameplay suffers. This is a video game, so make sure you have all the fun that you can playing it. One of my favorite ways to have fun in the early game in PUBG is to get into car chases. It's really fun to chase down people that don't want to get into a gunfight. So this guy was behind me in the buggy, and he drove right past me when I stopped to see if he wanted to fight, and we ended up with a little car chase on our hands. So believe it or not, this car chase actually went on for almost 3 minutes. And these are my favorite types of car chases because you get so hyped up and you're like, oh man, this guy is running from me so hard. As soon as he gets out of the car, I am going to toast this dude. But this is one of the longer car chases. Usually my car chases last 30 to 45 seconds before I can run them off the road and shoot them. But this guy had a faster vehicle than me and I just could not catch up. So I had to wait for him to make a mistake. And you might be watching this, guys, and thinking, what the heck does this have to do with winning chicken dinners? Well, let's go back to the point where I said make sure you have fun. This is the way I have fun in the game. It might be different for you. So for the first half of the game, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you have the most fun. That'll put you in a really good mental state and get you even more ready for that chicken dinner. It's the little things that count, guys. It's the little things. Don't just focus on the dinner. Focus on having fun playing the game. Well, just like we were talking about, this guy finally made a mistake and got toasted. I don't know why the game didn't give me the kill on that one, but I feel like it should. And this guy definitely deserved a little bit of teabag action. Now let's talk a little bit about preparing for that final circle and putting yourself in a position where you're more likely to win gunfights and ultimately get that chicken dinner. Check your map and try to pick a building that looks easy to defend well within the center of the zone. Now since there's a buggy here at the building that I picked, I assumed somebody was here. And when I heard him, it sounded like he was upstairs, but he actually surprised me. Gave him a little bit of potato aim, but ultimately he had worse potato aim than me and ended up dying. Now, my mistake there was just assuming the guy was upstairs. Based on my experience in this game, you usually find enemies in this type of building upstairs. So when I heard the sounds, I just assumed they were upstairs. Be careful about making assumptions. They can get you killed. And if that guy hadn't sucked so bad at aiming at me with a shotgun, I probably would have been dead right there. So be very careful about the assumptions you make in this game based on your past experience. Now that you've secured a location, you need to defend it. So if people end up driving up to you or coming into your compound, you want to engage them right away. But you don't want to be stupid about it, for lack of a better term. You want to kind of feel out the situation, see what building they're going for, listen to their footsteps, and move slowly. Unless you're getting shot in the ass, then you probably want to move a little bit faster than normal. I heard the guy go upstairs. I immediately saw that he went downstairs, so I put my grenade away. I was going to chuck a grenade upstairs, and fortunately I saw that he jumped out the back there trying to trick me. So I'm thinking right away, this guy's kind of tricky, and I don't necessarily want to be peeking my head out here. So I decided to chuck another grenade downstairs because I think I can actually hear him, and I think that's where he is. He's peeking me right there. But at the same time I'm throwing mine, I hear him throwing his. So we've got a tactical player here. So pay attention to the situation and what's going on. I use the sound of the grenades to jump out the window. I'm looking for him through this window because I'm not sure exactly where he went, but he starts shooting at me. So I decide to move away from the window. He's probably back upstairs. I'm going to relocate so that I can get a better feel for where this guy is and listen. I hear him following me, so I creep around the corner and give him something to think about. But I don't just run up the left side of the building. I'd rather run up the right side of the building for that peek advantage on the right side. Fortunately, this guy did not hear me coming. When I peeked around the corner, he was just sitting there healing himself and ended up getting toasted. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. When you get into your gunfights, you want to feel out how the enemy is playing. Are they a smart player? Are they rushing? Are they content to just camp in a room and wait for you to come in? You got to feel out the situation instead of rushing every single gunfight. Now, earlier in the match, I had noticed a care package sitting right out here, and I just heard a car pull up in this direction and stop. So I can be pretty sure this guy is checking the care package to see if anything is still there. I see the care package, and I see the Jeep that stopped, and I assume the guy is probably on the care package. So I get the grenade ready, and I toss it, but unfortunately I had a smoke grenade out. So that was an error on my part. Always make sure you have the right grenade ready to throw. Now the guy knows I'm here. I throw a real grenade, which actually hurts him quite bad. He goes to run, and it only takes one bullet to take him down the rest of the way. I go up to loot the guy, thinking, no one else is around, but always assume somebody else is around because basically as soon as I start looting this guy, somebody starts shooting at me. Now I can tell by the direction of the sound that this guy is somewhere to my northeast area. So I take cover on this tree and I met up and I just kind of look for the guy. I'm not really afraid right now because the guy can't see me, but I want to make sure he's not trying to flank me. So I take all the time in the world to look around, but my rule that I try to stick to almost religiously is if someone's shooting at you and all you have is a tree for cover and you don't see them and they don't shoot back at you, assume that they're trying to flank you. So try and move with cover away from the area. You don't know where this guy is, so he has the advantage. And of course, try to grab that loot out of the care package if you can. Now, since the set of buildings I picked is still in the safe zone, I decided to go back to the original building. But when I get here, I hear that someone has stolen my position, and I can clearly hear that they are upstairs this time, no doubt in my mind. So I decide to play it kind of slow, open the door, and see if I can see them. From the movements, I can tell that they are right on the left side of this door towards the wall, and they don't want to attack me. So I take a grenade out, cook it, bounce it off the wall, and get the kill for it. It's plays like that that are going to reward you in the end. Always make sure you have grenades, as many grenades as you can carry, because you never know when those things are going to come in handy. If I had just rushed in that room looking for a gunfight, if that guy knew what he was doing, I probably would have got gunned down. But it was tactics and strategy and ultimately patience that got me the kill. So keep that in mind whenever you're fighting someone who has taken over your building or is in a room that you need to get to, or if you're just bloodthirsty and want to get that kill. So now we're at the part of the match where you kind of want to settle down, stop having so much fun, and play defensively and go for that win. Notice there's only 15 people left alive, and I have found a good position on the balcony of this building to defend. You always want to make sure you have a better position than the enemies. Now, in this particular match, the zone was in my favor. It's always good when the zone's in your favor, but if the zone is not in your favor, try to use your vehicle to move to the next cover or the next building that is in your favor. The only time you don't want to use a vehicle is if it's on super low health, or if you're maybe in the top 5 and everybody that's left is going to see where you are. Pay attention to the gunshots around you, take note of where the enemies are, and don't necessarily shoot at every enemy you see. You want to wait until they're in a position where you're almost guaranteed the kill. Like this guy, I knew he was behind the tree for so long, but I didn't shoot at him. I just kind of waited for the blue to push him. I did take one shot there because I thought I saw him peeking, but ultimately I was waiting for this to happen. When the blue starts pushing, players are going to be caught off guard, and they're basically going to have to leave their cover and go somewhere that's not in their favor. So the last thing you want to do is get yourself in a position where you're going to be pushed by the blue and have to run away from gunshots instead of being able to engage, and especially because you don't know what cover you're going to have to go to. Always plan out your next move and move towards that cover. Even if it's just a rock or a hill, it could save your life. Now I've shifted from the balcony to the roof because the blue has pushed in and there's no chance of me getting shot from behind. Whereas on the roof before, I was an open target. As soon as I get up here, I see a person trying to reposition themselves. Notice there's only 3 alive, which means there's only 2 enemies left. This guy made a horrible mistake going prone there. Probably thought he had cover from where the shots were coming from, but did not. Now it's a 1v1 situation, and this can be the most intense moment ever. So try to stay calm. If you're a gamer like me, these moments will get you hyped up when it's just you versus one other player. So from my position up here, I can kind of get a good feeling of where the enemy is. So I decided to leave the roof and go for the position where I killed that last guy. I'm pretty sure the enemy's not over there since I just killed a solo player over there. And it looks like there's a little defilade cover there, some hills, some shade, some ups and downs that I can kind of use to my advantage. So basically this is almost like being on a roof and being able to see down below where the other player is. The high ground is always the best ground, guys. Remember that. Always have the high ground. So I decided to kind of just crouch around here, try and keep my head out of sight, and I see the last guy running on from the blue. Of course, that's how you're going to see most players in the last game, is running from the blue. I decided to use my collection of grenades. I cooked this one a little too long. I probably could have got him with that one had I not cooked it for so long, but I did have 4 grenades. So I decided to just start chucking grenades at this guy. He knows where I am, but I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, after you take your first shot or throw your first grenade, they're probably going to know where you are. I decided to use a little trickery at this point in time and take a shot at the guy. I can tell that he's a good shot. He's made it this far. Probably don't want to mess with this guy too much. So by not throwing another grenade and shooting my gun at him, I put him in a comfort zone where he thinks I don't have any more grenades. Big mistake. The most important time to use tactics and strategy is with the last enemies. Save your grenades. Use whatever tactics and strategy you can, even if you only have a smoke grenade and you want to trick them, into running out from their cover. Don't rush the last guy. Make the last guy come to you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find it helpful. Of course, there's 1,000 things you can do to get better at this game and to win chicken dinners. This is just my strategy, and I honestly hope it helps you guys. So if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more Battle Royale content. Thanks for watching, everyone. Later.